What's up, everybody? So, on the last episode, we got the Z fired up on all six cylinders finally. I showed y'all a couple tricks for getting injectors unstuck. If you didn't catch that episode, go check it out. It's a really helpful tip, and also showed you how to balance check the car, make sure that all the cylinders are firing. But today, on this episode, I got the new clutch slave cylinder because on the last episode, went to figure out what's going on with the clutch, and the slave cylinder was stuck. So I got a new one, get that thrown in the car, and then I'm also going to take a look at the brakes. The car was hard to push whenever I first got it, so I'm going to figure out if the brakes are sticking, if I got a caliper locked up, something like that. But stay tuned, and let's get at it. All right, got the new clutch slave cylinder. I took the boot off and put a little grease on the inside of it just to give the pin a little bit of lubrication and also help keep moisture from getting in there and getting it to rust up like the old one. So let me get this thing thrown in, and then we'll get the clutch bled and go from there. Alright, well, I wanted to show y'all my setup on how I bleed a clutch. This is one of the easiest ways. The only way that will make it easier is to run this line here all the way up to the clutch master cylinder. But I hook a line up to the slave cylinder, put in a bottle with fluid in it, and I crack it open and let it gravity bleed for a little bit. And then what I can also do is go and fill the master cylinder up and pump the clutch a handful of times just to push any air out of the system. But you definitely got to make sure that you keep the master cylinder topped off. So after I do that for a little bit, I will come down here, close the bleeder off, and just go up in the car and pump the clutch for a while until it starts to build up just a little bit of pressure. And then, since I'm doing this by myself, I've got a piece of like DOM tubing that I push the clutch pedal down with and put it down to the floor, and then I come down here, crack the bleeder valve open and release the pressure and just continue bleeding that way, pumping it up and bleeding it here by myself. But yeah, that's how I do it. Like I said, the only way that would make it easier is if you take this vacuum line and run it all the way up to the brake master or the clutch master cylinder while you're pumping the brakes with the bleeder open. It'll just keep the system topped off and you can see any bubbles that are coming out. And you do that for a little bit and then just bleed the clutch normally. Alright, well, I got the clutch bled. Pedal feels okay. Fire it up, see if the clutch works. Well, got the clutch all the way in. So it's dragging a little bit, but clutch out. Alright, well, let's start. Guess we'll keep playing with it, see what we can do. Alright, well, next thing to do is try and get these front brakes to move because they are, well, as hard as I can push on them, they are not moving. So I'm going to try and just push the pistons back and see if I can just get everything to break free. And then I'll have to go around and bleed everything. But this will be a good start. Hopefully I don't have to replace any calipers. Don't really want to, because sooner or later I did want to do Z32 brakes. I've got a couple sets laying around. So I will get this take it apart and figure out what's going on. Alright, well the next thing I'm going to do is get these brakes apart. They are stuck pretty good. So I'm just going to try and push the pistons back on the calipers and see if that frees it up. If not, I'll probably have to take everything apart and check the wheel bearings. But let's at least get things to start moving a little bit. See if I can catch an edge on something in here. If not, then I'll just take it all apart. But I will update you here in a few minutes and figure out what's going on. Alright, with some light prying, right here between the caliper and the bracket, just to get the caliper loosened up, which I did. I was able to get the way to move. So luckily I don't have to take the wheel bearings apart yet, but at some point I do want to take the wheel bearings off, repack them, or replace them if they're bad. So I'm going to jump over to the other side and do the same thing. Alright, well, we got our front brakes unstuck. Sound a little rough still, but once I get everything bled, I'm going to put some different wheels and tires on the car just so I can drive it around. I have no clue how old these tires are on this car. So, get all that done. I didn't use much pressure at all when I was doing this. So, there's no risk in damaging the brakes at all. It was just applied constant pressure on everything. And once the pistons started moving, that's all I needed to do. So I will get bleeding these brakes. And then hopefully get the car to move under its own power. Got a bit of a problem. This bleeder is clogged, so I'm going to go into the garage, try and get cleaned out so I don't have to replace it. Alright, so I'm going to take drill bit and just run it down the middle of the bleeder by hand. See if I can just get all the crud out. Looks like it pushed down pretty easy. Got that cleaned out. Grab some brake clean. Alright, good to go. I'll probably clean up a little bit with some Scotch-Brite, throw it back in the car, and continue bleeding. admit, I'm a little excited. I got the car on the ground. I just put air in all the tires. I'm not gonna worry with putting other wheels and tires on it at the moment because I plan on putting it back up in the air. Underside the car is pretty nasty, so I'm gonna pressure wash it. But I'm excited, and I just want to take it for a little test drive right up the street and then come right back. Well, the clutch doesn't work too good. Definitely gonna have to adjust the pedal on that or bleed it some more, but hey, at least the car's moving. Brakes work. Clutch is definitely touchy because the adjustment's right at the floor. But seems to be pretty good. Well, I'm excited. I didn't put any other wheels and tires on it. I just put air and everything. I'm not gonna go really far. Just drive around a little bit. Maybe see if it'll go in the boost. It definitely goes in the boost, not much, but it's a start. But just go right back to the house. Not trying to get myself in trouble, and I don't have a fire extinguisher, so that's it. I'm gonna park it and just go through the car, make sure everything's okay. All right, well, today was successful. Got the clutch slave cylinder put in, the clutch bled. Still need some adjustment, need to adjust the rod on the pedal. I'll show you all that next time. It's pretty simple, it's just a pain in the butt to get to. We got our brakes bled, so now the car will stop. I can move it around pretty easily, and then hopefully get it in the garage or the tent next time, so I'm not out in the sun. I can put some fans up and try and stay cool. Next time we're probably just going to go through the engine, make sure I don't have any big vacuum leaks, just check all the fluids again, make sure everything's good after actually driving the car. It was a little smoky, but I'm hoping after I let it run for a while and drive it a little bit, it'll clear up. I definitely want to do an oil change and flush all the fluids. That's about it. Just now really going to start cleaning this thing up and making it a nice car. I'll still do, small upgrades along the way, but I definitely want to, at some point, take it, put it on a dyno, see what kind of power it makes stock. Still has a cat on it. Hopefully it's not clogged. But that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. Have a good night.